Hello everyone, welcome you all back to my YouTube channel. So today we are starting with section 132. So up to this video we have completed section 123 to 131, and if you haven't watched those videos, please first watch those videos, and if you find those videos helpful, so please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It will going to motivate me to make more videos for you all. So section 132 of Companies Act 2013, Constitution of National Financial Reporting Authority. So this section has empowered to constitute a committee, that is the National Financial Reporting Authority, to constitute a committee who will recommend accounting standards and auditing standards to the central government. It will going to recommend to the central government. So this authority will recommend to the central government regarding the accounting standards and auditing standards. So this authority is earlier known as National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards, but now its new name is NFRA, that is NAFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority. So this NFRA has power. It has the power to recommend, enforce, monitor all the compliance which is relating to accounting standard and auditing standards. So this authority, National Financial Reporting Authority, so this has a wide power which will check the quality of services that is provided by professionals. This authority will check the quality of service of professionals as well, and it has the authority as same as civil court. So we will read it. This is the first point, that the section 132 has given empowerment to constitute a committee that will recommend accounting standards to the central government. Fine. Its earlier name was National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards, but now it is known as NFRA, and this NFRA has power to recommend, enforce and monitor. What it will monitor, enforce and recommend? It will recommend, enforce and monitor the compliance of accounting and auditing standards. Now the second point is, what are the powers given to NFRA? So NFRA has basically 4 points that are you must remember. That is to recommendation that we have read in point 1, that is to give recommendation to the central government on the formulation and laying down of accounting and auditing policies. Secondly, monitor and enforce the compliance on accounting and auditing standards. For example, that whether everything that is done by a company, all the compliances are followed, accounting and auditing standards compliances are followed. This has so NFRA has that power. Then the third point is to oversee the quality of services of professionals. So in this point, the NFRA has a power to check for the quality of services that professionals like CA provides. Professionals are provided. So to check whether they are not involved in any professional misconduct or any fraud. Then there is fourth point is any other function which will be like recommendation to the central government, monitor and enforce the compliance, or to check for the quality of services. Fine. Then the third point is, there is what will be the constitution of NFRA, how this NFRA is constituted. So there are one chairperson and 15 other members who shall not exceed 15 members. So who will be the chairperson? So the qualities and the knowledge the chairperson should have. So there are 4 things: that he should be expertise in accountancy, auditing, finance and law. Fine. So he will be appointed by central government. Fine. So chairperson and other members will be appointed by the central government. Fine. So any chairperson or any other member is appointed by the chair by the central government. Now there is a point. If let's say there is any chairperson or any other member who is in full-time employment with NFRA. So if they are in full-time employment with NFRA, so those members or chairperson, they should not be associated with any kind of audit firm. They should not be in any audit firm. And whether firstly during their service in FRA, they should not be involved in any they should not be associated with any audit firm. And secondly, that even after their cessation of service from NFRA, they should not be involved in any firm or any audit for 2 years after their cessation. Fine. And there is one point left, that whatever the terms and conditions which will be for the appointment of chairperson or any other member, it will be given by the central government only. Fine. Then fourth point is NFRA have power to investigate, like if for example if a CA or a firm of CA is involved in any professional misconduct, so the NFRA has a power to investigate that firm or CA. Fine. So to investigate, so there are 2 options. The NFRA can do it suo moto or on reference by central government. Suo moto means on its own. NFRA has the power to investigate either suo moto or on reference by central government. And there should be one thing to be taken. If the NFRA has started its investigation either suo moto or by reference on reference by central government, so if firstly there are 2 things. If after starting of investigation by NFRA, if there is any other authority wants to initiate the investigation on that firm or CA, then it cannot be continued. Secondly, if there is any other authority who was doing investigation of that firm or CA, so after the NFRA starts, it will be stopped. Fine. This is written here, provided no other institute or body has initiated or continue any proceedings. Fine. So if the NFRA is doing investigation of a particular firm or a CA, so any other authority who has initiated or wants to now initiate, they cannot continue that. Fine. So there is second point, that NFRA has a power as of civil court. Whatever the civil court has the power, the NFRA has the same authority. Firstly, what it can do, whatever the books of accounts and other documents that wants to discovery and production of books of accounts and other documents. Fine. Then second is summoning and enforcing the attendance of person and examining them on oath. If the NFRA send a summon means to order to present on order. Fine. If the NFRA has sent a summon to come and give give it attendance. Then the third point is investigation of any books. Then issuing commission for examination of witness or documents. So this is the common points which has a power of civil court. Fine. Then that we have read that NFRA has a power to investigate any professional authority if they are in any professional misconduct. So what is the meaning of professional conduct? Professional misconduct has a meaning same as that given under section 22 of Chartered Accountants Act 1949, which means there is a list of activities that the chartered accountants cannot do. So those activities comes under professional misconduct. Fine. So in case there is a professional misconduct found by NFRA, so what are the penalties that the NFRA will impose on that person? So that is there is two penalties. Firstly, there is a financial penalty. What is that financial penalty? So there is two cases, in case of individual and in case of firm. So in case of individual, so the minimum penalty is rupees 1 lakh, which may extend to 5 times of the fee received. Whatever the penalty, whatever the amount of default or whatever the amount of misconduct that a professional has done, so that amount in 5 times of the amount that he received. In case of firm, not less than 10 lakhs, but which may extend to 10 times of the fee received. Fine. So this is about financial penalty. There is another penalty, that is he will be debarred from the member from engaging in any practice for a period of 6 months, for a minimum period of 6 months, means for a period of 6 months, and which may extend to 10 years. So he will not be liable to engage, he will be liable not to engage in any practice for a period not less than 6 months, but which may exceed to 10 years. Then the next point is in case anyone aggrieved by the decision of NFRA, if the person whom the NFRA has taken any decision and that person comes and he is aggrieved, he means he is not satisfied with the decision taken by the NFRA. So he has a power that he can appeal before appellate authority. Fine. Then the appellate authority will take up the matter and do the further proceedings. Fine. Now the central government has been given the power to constitute a committee which will be having a chairperson and other members, which will not be exceeding 15 members. But now in case there is any other person required to conduct any activity, so the central government has the power to appoint any other person, like they can appoint a secretary so that the efficient performance of function can be done. Fine. Then the next point is the headquarter. About headquarter, where will be the headquarter of NFRA? That will be in New Delhi. So if any meetings or anything to be conducted, they can conduct their head office New Delhi or anywhere as they decide. Fine. Then about who will audit the accounts of NFRA. So this is the important point. Who will audit the accounts of NFRA? So the power is given to CAG, Controller and Auditor General of India. So now this audit report, fine, this is audit report, and the NFRA has to prepare annual report for every financial year, So for every financial year they have to prepare a annual report, and that of all its activities that they have done. So that annual report plus audit report. Now the NFRA will send this annual report to the central government. Why central government? Because the main authority over NFRA is central government. Now central government will then give that report, give annual report and audit report, which is given by the CAG these report, annual report and audit report, these will be laid before each house of parliament. Fine, that's it for this section. If you have any doubt for regarding this section, you can write it in comments, and please like my video if you find it helpful. Thank you so much for watching my video. Happy learning.